What is going on, guys? DBG here, and I know I missed this one last week, but this is another episode of the series where I rate your squads. Don't worry, I missed last week. I'm not going to miss 2 weeks in a row. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is a series where I take in squads from people and I give them a rating between 1 and 10, and also give people tips on how they can improve their teams. So this team right here is the first team. Also, if you guys want me to rate your squads, or tweet me on Twitter with hashtag #RateMyTeam. Give me a follow there as well at DBGYT_. And preferably, if you can like structure it like this, say for example, I run 2018 Hawks Freelance, have John Stockton with goal range, so that I can have a better idea. Because for example, if there was no like things explaining this, I would not even know that Stockton has goal range, or that Tim Duncan doesn't have bronze, like because both of these guys have come with bronze range. But anyway, let's look at this. So I have 85k. Stockton, Ellis. I don't like the two of them together. I do like them. This looks like current gen as well, so we also have to take that into account. Detlef is really good. However, Detlef is... I mean, Rubio's the best player in the lock-in set for Detlef. Or Wiggins, maybe. Duncan and Lanier, you can't... Like, I'm telling you this right now, you cannot survive with Tim Duncan at the 4. So what I would tell you to do is, if you don't like Duncan... Keep Duncan at the 5. Duncan's good. Spend like 15 or so K and get yourself like a Jonathan Isaac. Get Peja off the team. I get it. You have him locked in. Get there. Sell Derek Coleman. I don't care that he's got a duo. Drazen Petrovic. Also sell Drazen. They're a dynamic duo. They could both become pink diamonds. Drazen's probably really good for you, but I'm telling you right now that Drazen Petrovic is barely better than Drazen Petrovic is barely better than Ruby Nick Anderson. CJ McCollum, no clamps. Jam Morant, no clamps. The starting lineup is okay. This is a 5 out of 10 team. Like, it really is. Like, that bench lineup is weak. That's the only way I can describe it. Page is worthless. Derek Coleman is incredibly slow. Kind of usable next gen, not usable current gen. If I'm mistaken, this is next gen, your team's fine. You can use anybody, but that bench lineup. Like, 4 guys with no clamps. Your best defensive player is Drazen Petrovic. What I would tell you to do is get Isaac, get Amethyst CP3. That's about 30 something K. Sorry, 20 something K. Nick Anderson. I don't even know who to put in a small forward, honestly. And then center off the bench. I really don't know who to pick, like a Buck or something. But you can make this team a million times better. You can make this team a million times better. This is a weak team. I'm sorry. Like even someone like a Jeff Green is better than Peja Stojakovic. This team is very, very weak. It's a tear it down job. That's the only thing I can describe. I apologize. The only way I can, the only way I think you can improve is by completely tearing this team down. I think it is very, very weak. So anyway, now we're on to the next team. Current gen, I use 5 out of my bench. But for the most part, using 21 with the light freelancer. Okay, that's perfect. Good freelance there. With starting lineup, run a lot of zones. Don't pick and roll off, and just lots of cuts and finding out man at running some floppy plays. Any suggestions? Okay, let's have a look at this team. So Billups is an interesting one since you have him locked in. I mean that's the final say, isn't it? That means you've got Diamond LeBron James in your squad. You are on current gen, and as much as this pains me, as much as it pains me to say it is, Hito is not as good as Diamond LeBron James on current gen. As much as it pains me to say it. Your starting lineup though, Josh Smith really, really nice. Blake Griffin really nice. Cam really good. Jaylen Brown really good. John Wall. Your starting 5 is really nice. Starting 5 is like pushing 9 out of 10 range. Like the bench lineup, I mean, Mike is not awful. Like, these are all kind of basically free cards or lock-in cards. So literally, you've got 28k, and the only player you can sell is Hito. But so I can't really say in there. It's like a 7.5 out of 10 team. I'm not the biggest fan of the bench lineup. Like I have to be honest, not the biggest fan of that bench lineup. But Hito's decent. But still, the LeBron James card you already have in your lock-in set's better. So I would definitely put him in. There's nobody else in the final set really that I think is worth using. So yeah, you can't do much better for your price, I guess. Seems like a... With that bench lineup, I can't give it more than like a 7.5, but it's good. It's all right. Like, willing to sell any card, and we'll have 100k MT to spend. Okay, let me have a look at this. Not much playstyle tips, so I'm just going to have to make some guesses. Okay, so I like this team apart from... This is current gen, so I like the team apart from Ja. Ja is a liability on this gen. It is very, very difficult to hide a non-clamps player, and he can't get clamps. Like, yeah, I get it, you can manipulate matchups, but you can't really put Ja on like a small forward. If he was like 6'7", you could kind of get away with him. A little bit like people used Penny Hardaway in 2K9 or in 2K20. So, Chris Paul, just get Chris Paul. Chris Paul is your backup point guard. And then, what I would probably advise you, it all depends on how you play though. If you want speed, Kemp at center, Jonathan Isaac power forward, Chris Paul, sell Sabonis, Chris Paul point guard, and you've made a profit in your team, probably a bit better. But I don't know how you use Sabonis. Like, if you're using Sabonis and picking Pops as like an out and out big, he's really, really good. Obviously, starting line is fantastic. Embry's fantastic. Gobert's fantastic. I do also like... I think I might honestly prefer Embry at center. Like, even something like Embry as your backup center with Kemp, and then Jonathan Isaac starting at the power forward. But again, Embry's still fine at power forward. Your 1, 2, 3 on your starting lineup are fine. AK is great, especially if you can manage to get range on him. Cam Reddish is great. Monte Ellis is great. Ja's a bit iffy. Cliff Hagan and Glenn are both really, really good. The only thing with Ja, the good thing with Ja is that you can replace him with the 10k MT CP3, and that card would be fantastic. Unless, of course, you're a rim runner. If you are a rim runner, then I would honestly start CP3 because you can rim run with Cam Reddish and use him as your primary ball handler, and then rim roll Monte Ellis off your bench. If that is your play style, then that's what I'd probably advise you to do. Or actually, if your play style is rim running, you don't need 3-point shooting. Rather than Ja, get De'Aaron Fox. But one of those two guys, yeah, De'Aaron Fox with CP3 is your backup point. But otherwise, pretty nice team. And this is your no money spent team. Run Hawks 2018, like pick and roll, pop kick shooters. D Mitch is bronze range. Hall of Fame quick first step Cooper. Embry, really? Gold ranged Embry? All right, I dig it. Jaylen Brown gold quick first step. 133k. Okay. Okay, let me have a look right here. Donovan Mitchell to 1, fantastic. CP3, 2 great point guards. Jaylen Brown, really nice, especially with quick first step. Nick Anderson, great. A bit of a weird one starting Nick Anderson over Cam Reddish. I mean, I'm crazy, but I don't even think I'd do that. I'd probably start the Cooper Reddish combination. Actually, no, it makes sense. It gives you more firepower off the bench. I get you. I get where you're coming from. Ingram, really, really nice. Hopefully you got bronze clamps on him. Again, my whole thing is that it looks like you're on PS4 by looking at things. My whole thing with clamps is that you literally you don't trigger blow by animations. You still can blow by people with clamps. You just don't trigger the animation where you make contact and you go through their body. You don't trigger the same animations when you even have bronze clamps. I'm pretty sure bronze clamps stops that specific animation from happening. So, yeah, bronze clamps Ingram, but again, his bronze range is still pretty okay. Surge really good. Obviously, you're starting lineup, you know it's good. I mean, this team is you might think this team's a lot worse than the last team saw, but it's not. This is like a 7.5 out of 10 team, and for the price you paid, that's a pretty good rating. It's a pretty good rating. You can't get much better with your value. No MT, but planning to get a lot on Christmas. And how do you manage to do that? Because the purchase of MT is against terms of service and can get you banned. And also, I never advise anyone to pay for VC. If you are over the age of 18, do what you want. Open packs as you please. If you are under the age of 18, do not do it. It is gambling. And I will forever. People are telling me, honestly, in comment sections being like, you shouldn't be telling people what to do. It's like, no, I will always tell people under the age of 18 not to gamble. Straight up, do not gamble if you're under 18. But planning to buy D12, no, don't buy him. It says Glenn. Glenn's good. Penny, no, don't get Penny. And move Jamal to the 2. Penny to 1. Jamal has range and clamps goal. Like a 3 on explosive, rim run, kick out for 3s. Okay, I don't know exactly what gen this is. That's where the question is. Am I right in saying this is next gen? No. I don't know. I think the picture's kind of blurry, so I can't really see the font properly. But telling you, don't get Dwight Howard. Do not get Dwight Howard. And whatever you do, do not get Penny Hardaway. Your 2-point guards, Gold Clamps Crawford, Chris Paul are way better than Penny Hardaway. And so is Jimmy Butler at the 2. Gerald Wallace is fine. Jonathan Isaac's really good. AK is really good at the 4. Larry Nance, maybe you need a little more shooting there for Larry Nance. You've got your last 3 at the bench cover roles. You got the speed demon and De'Aaron Fox. You got the range extender player Nick Anderson. You got the big man of Patrick Ewing. I'm a bit iffy on Bam Adebayo, but like you do you. If you like him, you like him. I'm very, very picky when it comes to centers. Like, I only like a specific type of center. Kemp, funnily enough, is in that specific type of centers, but I'm not the biggest fan of Bam. But I will always say it with guys like Bam Adebayo that it's personal preference why I don't like them. It's not the fact that they're bad cards, so can't really say too negative there. This team's good though. Like, Eddie's obviously exceptional. Chris Paul's exceptional. If you can replace Gerald Wallace with Glenn, the team becomes a lot better. I don't like your lack of shooting on the bench, and the fact you've only got 1.5 scorers. Sean Kemp can kind of create. Obviously, Jamal Crawford can create a lot, very, very well. Whereas on your starting lineup, you got kind of 2 elite scorers in CP3 and Eddie Jones in terms of creating. Then you got Isaac and AK who can just hit wide open. Team struggles with range, so did you say you were 21 delay? If you aren't running 21 delay, I would advise you to use 21 delay as your freelance so that your players hug the 3-point line. It's a little bit worse spacing wise, but it's the only way your players are going to be able to be consistently open. So you're not consistently open in an area where they can shoot from, because if you're not playing 21 delay, they're basically going to spot it from hash and you can't shoot from there. You're not going to make the shot. So I like the team. There are definite situations where you can make the team better, but I like this team. I'm not the biggest fan of Nance, not the biggest fan of Wallace for for Wallace's price, and I just think Nance kind of struggles with a lot of things. He's kind of like a Giannis type card who and I'm not the biggest fan of him. But overall, pretty okay team, like an 8. Okay, big fan. Love to hear what you think of the squad. Mostly play offline. Okay, so your L2, your LP, but L1 button doesn't work. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Mostly play offline. So basically, best to add and substitute online. Yeah, let me see. First of all, Derek Coleman at the 4 doesn't work when you're playing online. I'll be the first to say that. Derek Coleman at the 4 does not work online. Go and sell your Derek Coleman. Trust me. Yeah, having an original owner diamond card might help, but let's be real. The only competent... There's been 2 competent exchange rewards that we've gotten since the start. There's been Bob Cousy, and then there's been Paul Westphal. Literally none other. Then your point guard position... I mean, Ja is a liability online, but he's still good. But he's probably a beast offline. Offensively, he's fine. Defensively, you just got to find out how to hide him. He can't guard the other team's point guard, so you got to manipulate your matchups. Maybe try to get him onto a guy who can only just shoot the ball. But depending on what team your opponents are running, like for example, if I was running, if you ran against the exact same team as you're running with, it would be almost impossible for a Ja Morant to guard anybody because they can all just run by him or post them up. Off your bench, I kind of like Hero. Hero is too expensive for what he is. Honestly, he's good. Don't get me wrong, he's good. He's just too expensive compared to like a Nick Anderson. He's not great. Hito, you can play Hito at the 4. Dino, I think Dino's shooting is a little bit of a liability, but he's not bad though. Dino's not bad. Obviously Cam's exceptional. You don't really... You're probably gonna have to hide Hero, but if you replace him with like a much cheaper Nick Anderson, you're basically getting a better card for way cheaper. Hito, play him a power forward. Hito can't really survive a small forward, And again, you got to get used to that release. If you're used to it, be my guest, go ahead and use Hito because he's really good at everything except his release. Small forward. I think who fits for really, really cheap. I mean, Jonathan Isaac wouldn't be a bad shout at small forward. And then at center, again, it's so hard to say with center who to get because it all depends on your playstyle, honestly. So I'm going to give this team like a 6.5. Or if somebody doesn't really play, it's perfect to play offline. Like, you got guys that can torch people offline. But online, it's about a 6.5 to 10. Being a fan for a while, no money spent, running Hawks 2018 freelance and pass the screen away with D Rose. Kick out to whoever is open. Everyone is badged except your bench. Let you know what changes you should make. Okay, let me have a look. Obviously, you've got Andre Iguodala, so you know what you're doing. Got very little MT. Zion is a beast. Wayne Embry's fantastic. I don't know how I feel about Embry and Lucas playing at the same time. I'm gonna say that right now. I don't know how I feel about those two cards playing at the same time. Like if I was playing your starting lineup, the fact you've got 3 non-range extended players, I would probably zone it up. You only really have to worry about 2. If you're, and it means that unless you're literally in 21 delay where your players hug the 3-point line, there are like 2 people you have to worry about because unless Iggy's in the corner, that is. Yeah, so that's just one thing. I would definitely start Lucas, bring Embry off the bench. As far as your like centers go, then I would probably go and buy Isaac. Especially if you like Larry Nance. Isaac's just better Larry Nance. Your point guards are fine, your 2 guards fine, small forwards fine. Look, at this stage, Pierce is outclassed, but like, to get an upgrade on Pierce, you're probably going to pay 25, 30k, and there's no point spending that amount, because Pierce is fine, and you already have the reward. But, honestly, yeah, Aldridge with, replace Aldridge with Jonathan Isaac. Embry a center off the bench, and then someone for Larry Nance. Because just realize Embry and Nance together is the same problem as Lucas and Embry together. I honestly don't know who to play as a stretch for. Like Isaac is the guy I normally would use as far as budget players go, and you don't have much MT. Maybe give it a go without the shooters, but look, you got Andre Iguodala, you know what you're doing. So considering the fact that I haven't played, to be fair, I haven't played the game. I have not played more than 15 games of Unlimited to get any of these Unlimited rewards. We probably are getting Unlimited rewards tomorrow, by the way. But I haven't played. I'll probably then turn on Unlimited again. But hi DBG, love the channel. This is your current team. All players have extra and upgraded badges and good diamond shoes. Also have Diamond Nick Nurse's coach. You're good at the game. Don't use power forward center as outside shooters. You're on current gen. That's an interesting one. Like, don't use them as outside shooters. How do you... Like, I understand having a center as an outside shooter, but how do you use a power forward and a center not as an outside shooter? Out here playing with, like, the 2-3 zone offense. Badier is the standout there. I like the rest of your players, like Badier and Kareem. I don't even know what price Kareem is. I think one of those things that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar card is they just completely nerfed him. Like, he was so good in 2K17, he's so, like, just not good this year that I'm just, like, even more annoyed about him. But, like, I don't see there being, unless you want a rim protector, and not many people need rim protectors in the game this year, I don't see there being any situation, whether it be financial or just gameplay wise, where Kareem is actually not, that Kareem is better than Sean Kemp. Unless you're a big Kareem fan, then be my guest. AK really got the 4. Badier, I mean, just considering the fact you have Zion, you like Zion, just get worse Zion and put Glenn at the 3. Reddish really good, T-Mac really good, your point guard's really good. Giannis, not my cup of tea, but he's a really good card. Like, not a card I like, but he's like objectively really good. AD is one of the best bigs in the game. AK is one of the best bigs in the game. They're the 2 guys that I would try swap. You could probably, if you sold your Kareem, you could probably go and buy, it's probably not that much different than buying Glenn. And then obviously about 5k MT on a Sean Kemp will probably make the team better. But No, I gotta say, this is a team that I'm not high enough on it that I'm gonna give it like a 9 out of 10, but it's an 8, man. It's an 8, especially if you don't need bigs or you don't need shooters at the point or at the power forward center position. It's like an 8 out of 10. Okay. On current gen, gonna be on next gen soon. No money spent team. Okay. Okay, so you're selling to get ready for next gen. So I gotta look at this as if it's next gen. First of all, Darren Williams is not very good on next gen. Ja Morant is better than Darren on next gen. I'll be the first to say that. Ja is better than Darren Williams next gen. So Duncan, Gobert, you like those guys? They're basically the same card. Perfect together. Wayne Embry, fantastic. Especially, he's unbelievable next gen. Cam Reddish, great. Pete Maravich, fantastic on next gen. I will definitely not suggest to get rid of Pete Maravich for next gen. If you were actually, he's about 100 and something K. I mean, I'm guessing you're a massive Maravich fan if you have him there, but like it's probably tactical downgrade situation there. You can probably tactically downgrade Maravich to a better player, as in you've got 2 snipers. Just replacing Maravich with Clay is probably not gonna make much of a difference. But Darren Williams, I definitely wait a few days and then sell him when the market picks up a little bit, because not wait a few days, we'll probably wait till tomorrow or tonight. Darren Williams is a fantastic guy current gen. He's just not the same next gen. Trust me, he's not the same. Rafer Alston's really good both gens. Jazz great next gen. Overall team's not too bad. Honestly, getting someone like a Jonathan Isaac just like steady the ship as your backup power forward, he's an awful lot better than Buck Williams. And I'm guessing you're probably not playing Glenn Rice. Like, you're selling Kurolenko, which means you obviously don't like him. I would have half said, you know what, maybe 100k on a Kurolenko starting at the 4 mightn't be too bad. If you can manage to get badged up next gen though, I was about to say badged up Kurolenko for Wayne Embry might not be the worst decision, or moving Wayne Embry to backup center and getting rid of Rudy Gobert or Duncan. It's a kind of interesting one because you're talking about next gen. I would get rid of Darren. I would get rid of Michael Red. You don't need snipers next gen. That's one thing I've learned as well. If your sniper can't play defense, like as in a Clay and Michael Red will do basically the same thing, because everyone can green everything. Tyree Gavin's free card, keep him there. If you want Glenn, get rid of Glenn. He costs nothing anyway. Gobert and Duncan, if you like both of them, keep them. Starting lineup's kind of okay. Even moving Ja to your starting lineup, because you can't play. You're unlikely playing like Red and Clay at the same time, so use one of them off your bench. And a tactical downgrade from Maravich to someone different is probably going to help, but not too bad either. Not too bad either. Okay, I have 150k. How many more of these teams do we have? Okay, so we have got we are almost at the end of these teams. We got 3 more right here. So let's have a look at this. 150k, I have gold range and clamps on. Can get everyone except on everyone I can get it, sorry, except AK, Wayne, and Connie. Alright, a gold range and AK would be nice, to be fair. I'm guessing you've got gold range and Embry as well then. I really like this team. I gotta admit, I really like this team. You got Sam Jones, which means you've locked in Havlicek and D-Rob. They're both perfectly fine. AK is great. If you can manage to get range on him, it's even better. Darren Williams, Cam Reddish, Glenn Robinson, all fantastic. I can't suggest anything. This team's unbelievable. Maybe Jonathan Isaac for Connie, but that's preference. That's literally just preference, who you prefer, Isaac or Connie. But other than that, look, you've locked in Sam Jones. Keep him in your team. He's good enough that he'll be usable till about January and February. John Havlicek, again, locked in, good enough to use. D-Rob, the exact same, locked in, he's good enough to use. Reddish, Glenn, fantastic. D-Will, fantastic. This is like a 9.3 out of 10. This is a fantastic team. It's a perfectly constructed team, so I can't make any suggestions. Obviously, if you didn't have Havlicek and D-Rob locked in, I'd suggest getting rid of both of them, but they're both good enough to be used and they're both locked in, so they're technically free cards for you anyway. But yeah, just keep it the same. If you want to try out a instead of a Connie Hawkins, if you want to try out a Jonathan Isaac, go for it. Other than that, team's fine. No money spent on PS4. Starting 5 badged out with diamond shoes. Hall of Fame rebound chaser on Gobert. Hall of Fame lob finisher on Giannis and Gobert. Half rim protector on Aldridge. Okay, that's weird. Play like a worst tie. So basically like 80% of the people after the Deep Passion defense tutorials released in 2K20. Monte Ellis, Cam, PG, Giannis and Gobert. I kind of like that lineup. It doesn't suit my play style. It's nice. Like, your players are very good. I mean, I think I'm just sounding like a broken record, but I don't like Aldridge and Embry together. I don't like Aldridge in general. There's no advantage having Aldridge and Embry over having like Isaac and Embry. I mean, you might get a little bit more shoot. Actually, you barely get more shooting out of an Aldridge than an Isaac. But Isaac gives you a million times more on defense. Starting 5 is really, really good. Starting 5 is like really, really good. This team is probably like an 8.8 out of 10. I don't like the last three off the bench, especially because it looks like you're on current gen. Point guards are fine. 2 guards are fine, especially if you've got Badge and Jeff Malone. Chris Mullin's fine. Paul George is fantastic. Embry, Giannis are fine. Gobert is really good. And I definitely would suggest to get rid of Aldridge, but it all depends on who you want from. I still think you get a little bit more with Isaac and Embry. It's mad. I've literally just suggested Jonathan Isaac for everybody. But to be fair, if I was doing the series in 2K19 or 18, I would have just suggested Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac has been the king of budget players for a couple of years. He really has. Run 5 out, got about 200k to work with. Have bronze clamps and silver range on Blake. Blake's just ridiculous. Go quick for a step on Brown. Bronze clamps and JoJo mostly play on next gen. Okay. That changes things because this is a... There's one thing that is just bothering me. That you've got Duncan at power forward and Blake at center. I get it, he's a mismatch problem at center. But Duncan can't really guard many people at power forward because of how slow he is. Other than that, though, I can't really argue. There's a single bad player. If you're on next gen, you've got Steph, Cam Reddish, Jaylen Brown, and JoJo. And Glenn. You've got some of the best cards in the game on next gen. Those guys are as good as a Duncan, or as good as a Blake Griffin on next gen. You got Cliff, who shoots from 50 feet away. I mean, this is like a 9.6 out of 10 if you're talking next gen. Because again, there are very, like again, one thing I will always say is that every card is somewhat usable on next gen, but there are very few like absolute standouts on next gen. However, Steph Curry is one of those standouts. Cam Reddish, Paul George, but Cam Reddish and Paul George are them standouts. Cliff Hagan's a standout. Half range extender on next gen is the most ridiculous thing ever because they can shoot from half court. And you got 2 players in the team with that. JoJo's incredible next gen. Jaylen Brown is a standout. One of the best releases on next gen. Glenn's a standout. This team is a very nice current gen team. When we're talking 9.2, 9.3 out of 10 current gen. It's like a 9.6, 9.7 out of 10 next gen. It's even better on that gen. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it. That is the video, lads. It's been 28 minutes recording this, so it's a pretty long one. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. Tweet me on Twitter at DBGYT_ if you want the chance to be featured in one of these videos. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.